Well, the ups and downs of baseball. Every day is a new day. That was obviously a very difficult one to accept. AJ Labus pitched his heart out. So did their kid. It was like watching two clones out there pitch. Their kid was doing the same thing that AJ was doing. He had a great two-seamer working. We chased a lot of bad pitches off their guy. And he was changing speeds like AJ was. And, we were able to get a run across. And we couldn't get enough going. We couldn't get another run. And Garrett Edwards came in and got a good big strikeout for us. And, but trying to win a 1-0 game is, a bad break or, one good at bat by them can turn the game around. And that's what ended up happening. Will Helmer's got 2 quick outs, and then they got a base hit up the middle. And, the one kid that has a little bit of power for them, we're playing, as deep as we can. And he just hooks one into the one place on the field where, you can get a double where you can't defend it, right in the corner there. And, we just didn't execute the double cutoff very well. And, the runner scored. I don't know if we would have had a shot at him or not, but obviously the throw was errant. And, it was, we just couldn't even back it up. It was so errant. And then, the kid goes to third base. You all saw what happened. And Will tried to make a play and threw it into left field. In retrospect, it's a learning experience for Will there. We don't even want him to throw the ball with 2 outs, because now with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, it takes a base hit to score him. So the last thing you want to do is give him a gift. But, the position players are taught that every day. The pitchers very rarely are in a position to have to understand that cardinal rule of baseball. And so it's a teaching point today that we had to learn the hard way. But it was just a, unbelievable game. We fought back. We're down 2-1. Mitchell Sanford comes up as a pinch hitter and just hits a absolute missile there. And their shortstop had to be the play of his life, diving backhand, throws the ball in the dirt. The first baseman picks it. Couldn't believe it, just unbelievable. You tip your hat to them. They made the play. And unfortunately, we couldn't hold them right there, and it ended up being a 2-run game instead of a 1-run game, and give them a little breathing room, and we end up going down. So tough loss for us. We'll have to regroup and get ready for another 5-game week.
Coach, you talked about a teaching experience and learning experience, not just today, but what do you hope your team learns from this entire weekend in terms of their experience?
Well, David, every day is a learning experience. We're playing a lot of the young players, but that's not an excuse. I'm not making excuses. Whether you're young, old, experienced, whatever, every day you have to learn from mistakes that are made, and it all becomes cumulative in terms of your knowledge of the game, and also understanding that every day is a new day. We went from, getting blown out to blowing them out to having a 1-0 game going into the 8th inning. And you never know what kind of game it's going to be on a given day. We lost a 1-run game to Air Force early. Then we won a 1-run game against Youngstown State. And now we lost another close game, So, you got to be able to win the close ones. And it takes a lot of poise and composure to win the close ones. The blowouts don't happen very frequently, especially against the good teams. So you got to be ready to win the close ones. And it takes a lot of composure and poise. It takes clutch pitching, clutch defense. And you got to be able to take advantage of your opportunities and to score. And I thought we did there. Mitch Sanford hit that ball just as hard as he possibly could coming off the bench. It looked like it had a base hit written all over it. And their shortstop just made an amazing play. I just can't even believe he made that play. I thought the ball was past him and the game was tied, and we were going to have a chance to take the lead right there and turn the ball over to your closer in the 9th inning. And the kid made the play, and all of a sudden we're going to the 9th inning behind. So you just have to, deal with what happened and analyze it, learn from it, move forward.
Coach, do you think losing a game, winning a game like yesterday where you were in complete control and then going to the total opposite game today where you lost this close one and pretty much gave it away, do you think that's going to have a more psychological effect on your players than if you would have lost this game 3 runs, 4 runs, something like that?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think it'll have a psychological effect any more than any other game. I think losing is losing. If you lose by 1 run or you lose – actually, I shouldn't say that. I think getting blown out is a lot worse than losing a close game. I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but when you're not competitive, that's a lot worse than having a heartbreak or, you're right there. We had a chance to win, and, if we could have just scratched another run or 2 across, maybe it doesn't come down to 1 at bat by them. You'd say we gave it away, but I saw it a little bit different than that. The 2 outs in the 8th inning, their batter gets a 2-strike base hit against Helmers, and then, their guy, smokes one into the corner to tie the ball game. What we gave away was throwing the ball into left field, but the runner would have been at third base with 2 outs. Who knows if the next guy would have got a base hit or not? We would never know because the situation didn't happen. I tip my hat to Oral Roberts. Those 2 at bats against a good pitcher for us were things that they earned against our guy. We didn't give that to them. They got a base hit and then they hit a double off the wall to tie the ball game. What we gave them was, the second run. We don't know if that run would have scored or not had we pitched, but psychologically, we'll bounce back. We have to. You have no choice. We got a long season ahead of us, and there's going to be a lot of ups and downs throughout the course of the season. This is not like football or even basketball. You play a lot of games, and you just got to be able to put it behind you quickly and move on to the next game.
Paul, with the way their pitcher was throwing today, it seemed like y'all were trying. How much were y'all trying to generate scoring opportunities throughout the course of this game? It looked like there was some more steal attempts than maybe usual and things like that.
Well, there was 2 things. The wind was blowing in, and I talk a lot about how the elements control. I mean, I watched batting practice today, and I saw Dylan Cruz hit about 5 balls as hard and as far as he possibly could, and they barely were reaching the warning track. So I just didn't think there was any chance really to hit a ball out of the ballpark today. And it was going to, be necessary for us to try to manufacture something. And, when we had runners on base, we tried a couple times to bunt for hits. We weren't able to execute that. We tried a couple hit and runs. We weren't able to execute that. We tried to steal bases a couple times. I think we might have got thrown out once or twice. I can't remember exactly, but we're trying to make something happen to get guys in scoring position in hopes that we could get a guy home. I think the run we scored, we stole second, and then Jordan Thompson got a base hit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you have to gamble sometimes when the elements are you're facing. The pitcher was exactly the kind of pitcher that pitches well in a game like and the elements like today, just like AJ Labus was the kind of pitcher that pitches well in the elements like today. And he threw a lot of strikes and made him hit the ball. And for the most part, it was successful formula against their hitters. And their guy did the same thing to us. Okay. All right.
Y'all can start with questions for AJ.
AJ, David from Rivals. How just disappointing is it? You have the lead going into the 8th inning, and then it kind of just falls apart in the span of just like the snap of a finger. How just disappointing was it?
It's pretty disappointing, but it's the game of baseball for you. Like, anything can happen in like games like this. So we just got to go out there and keep our heads up and get ready for Tuesday's game against Texas Southern.
What was the mood after the game? You're talking about keeping your heads up. What was the mood after the game?
Everyone's pretty disappointed. Everyone's pretty much disappointed about the game, but we just gotta take it one game at a time and focus on Tuesday's game and just flush this game down the drain and not look back at it.
Yeah, AJ, putting aside the loss, this was your best outing of the year. Could you talk about the way you pitched?
I feel like I pitched pretty good. I had committed my fastball both sides of the plate, inside and outside, and then had a really good feel for my changeup like usual and just keeping their hitters off balance. And then looking at Landon's start from Saturday, me and him are pretty much the same pitcher. We both throw a ton of strikes and command 3 pitches. And seeing that, like, they struggled with, like, fastballs inside and then, like, changeups, it's pretty much what I tried to intimidate today is, like, how he pitched yesterday.
AJ, Landon said yesterday that the loss Friday really fueled a fire for him to come out and pitch well on Saturday. Did that have a similar effect on you? Did that kind of motivate you in a similar way?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same exact effect because, I mean, no one wants to be a part of the game Friday. Like, we go out there and get beat like that. And then, so, like, today, like, with Landon's start yesterday, you can just tell, like, he had, like, a different look in his eye, like, going out to the mound. And he wanted to, like, prove himself and, like, make sure like, he put the best chance for the team to win. And I felt like I did the same thing today, just went out there and threw a bunch of strikes and just gave the team the best chance to win.
AJ, you obviously weren't a part of that sequence in the 8th inning, but could you kind of take us through what it was like watching it unfold from the dugout and maybe what should have happened in those situations?
I mean, just going back and thinking about it. I mean, that's the game of baseball for you. Like the kid, like we're playing no doubles, and then kid hits the ball in a perfect spot that you really can't do much about. And then on the overthrow, I mean, it's just natural instincts to try and get the guy out at third. So that's just the game of baseball for you, and you just can't let that affect you, and you just have to move on from it.
AJ, Coach was talking about how you and Oral Roberts, the starter, were very similar, both similar types of stuff. Like, when he's having that much success, I mean, do you have any input since you guys' stuff is so similar? Were you talking to the hitters about what he's trying to do to them since you face these guys all the time in inter squads?
I mean, a little bit, but not too much. So, I mean, it really just depends because, I mean, each guy's different, like, hitting-wise. And, like, they go out there and make adjustments, like, in-game adjustments. So you really can't base stuff off, like, how they're pitching and, like, how I'm pitching.
Any more questions for AJ? Thank y'all.